My name is Raaja, this is Aaron. We're co-founders of a company based here in Chicago, actually, which is super exciting for us, called Bucketfeet. And I asked myself another question backstage: what do you do if you're not TS Monk? How do you find your creative process? And for us, it's all about people. For us, it's the power of connectivity and the power that can have and what that can do for this world. So this is us when maybe we were a little cooler. We weren't working 9 to 5s or 9 to 9s or 9 to 2s or whatever it is that we do today. This is us back then. This is us in 2008, and I apologize, that is not in Argentina. If there are any Argentinians in here, you'd probably call me out on that. But this is us. This is when we met. We met about 6 years ago. I had just quit a job to find myself, I guess, to backpack around the world. I ended up going to about 30 countries on every single continent. I don't count Antarctica as a continent, so I went to every single continent. And Aaron just graduated from college and decided to, as college graduates do, not get a job, become a photographer, and move to Argentina. So we had very interesting different paths, and I met Aaron literally in a slum outside of Buenos Aires. Very serendipitous. There was no plan, no intention to it. And we hit it off, and we became friends, and we admired each other's hairstyles, and it was a really great thing. And before I left Argentina, I decided to, before I left Argentina, and as Aaron and I got to know each other, I found out that he designed shoes, not unlike the shoes we're wearing today. And Aaron was selling these from all over the world to people all over the world, and it was just a hobby of his. So I asked him for a pair of shoes, and I took off. And I ended up going on this amazing trip to, the South Pacific, to the Himalayas, all through Africa, to Europe, everywhere. And everywhere I went, I was by myself, and I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to meet people. I was by myself. I wanted to have companionship. And I kept finding that everyone would always comment about my shoes. They didn't ask me about myself. They asked me about my shoes. And I found that when talking about the shoes, it wasn't about the product itself. It was about Aaron. It was about his story, his inspiration, why he made the shoes that he did. And all of a sudden, I found that made my story a little bit more interesting. And this kept happening, whether I was in Botswana or Kenya or New Zealand or Nepal. Anywhere I went, the same unifying thing was people would ask me about these shoes, and they'd be interested in why I was wearing these shoes and why I was so interested about the person that made those shoes. And this kept happening, and you fast forward to about 3.5 years ago, we launched this company. We launched this company with the mission to connect people through art. And the idea that there's power in people, there's power in numbers, and if you can find really, really incredible people, you can find really, really incredible people that have really, really great stories. You can create really, really amazing things. So I'm going to turn it over to my guy here and let him tell you some stories.
How's everybody doing? So we have about 10,000 artists in our network. Obviously, don't have time to talk about 10,000 artists tonight. So I did want to highlight just sort of a few of them that we find really interesting and think you guys would like to get to know. So after I left Argentina, I was there for about 2 years. I ended up moving to Bogota, Colombia. And in that city, I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with the country of Colombia. And through some friends, I was introduced to some street artists. I had some friends that ran a graffiti tour. And one of the guys that I was introduced to is this guy, DJ Lou. DJ Lou is an artist that, if you go to Colombia, you see his stencils and his art everywhere. Really amazing guy, very interesting. He's actually a university professor as well. But what's so cool about what DJ Lou does is he uses street art as a way to sort of talk about social and political situations that happen not just in Colombia, but also around the world. And one of the main things that he does is this pineapple grenade hybrid that you can see up there. So where you once only were able to see this pineapple grenade on walls, you can now see it on shoes. So you can see that there. So now these shoes are walking all over the world. It's extremely amazing. The next artist I wanted to talk about is Lisa Mam. Like I do a lot, I'm on blogs, on Instagram, doing whatever I can to sort of get in front of artists and find new people to reach out to. And I actually ended up stumbling upon this guy by the name of Peeptar. He's actually the artist that did the shoes that I'm wearing now. I don't. Most of you guys probably can't see it, but
they're crazy shoes.
Yeah, they're not subtle. We'll put it that way. And he is, after looking at Peeptar's work, I ended up stumbling upon the work of Lisa Mam. And Lisa has the claim to be the first female Khmer graffiti artist in Cambodia. And this is really, something of note because, just a few short decades ago, under the Pol Pot regime and stuff, anything creative was stifled to the point of, you get executed or thrown into a concentration camp or something. And today, Cambodia is a very vibrant, really amazing country, and the art scene is really doing amazing. And so you can see in her art, she pulls a lot from her ancestry and does a lot of, has a lot of textures that come from, the types of things that you would see sort of carved into the walls at a place like Angkor Wat or whatever, but obviously with her own unique twist. And on her shoes, you can see the same thing. You see that, that Khmer, texture, this really amazing type of art that, you're not going to see outside of Cambodia. And again, this is walking all over the world. It's really cool. Finally, we're bringing it back home to Chicago. This is Sentrock. He actually went to Columbia College. We stumbled, well, I guess we didn't stumble across Sentrock. He actually was the winner of a contest that we held to find the next Bucketfeet artist. And he was one of thousands of contestants. And he came in and it just, we couldn't, there was no chance that anybody else was really going to win the way people were really, reacting to his work and really just loved this guy and wanted to support him. And what's great about him is, he's from Phoenix originally. He lives in Chicago now. Grew up in a very, difficult, in a neighborhood under difficult circumstances. Really used art as a way to channel, all the negative things going on and find a positive outlet and a way to get out of the city. And so a lot of his work is heavily influenced by these animal characters. The bird, which is a symbol of sort of freedom, being able to fly, get out of these difficult situations, and the wolf, which signifies strength and stuff like that. And on his shoe, he decided to go the route of the wolf. And basically, the moral of the story here is that there are millions of people out there like this that you and I might not have heard about. I doubt most of you guys have heard of any of these three artists that we just mentioned, but they have incredibly interesting stories to tell, and they're very talented. And with what we're trying to do with Bucketfeet is channel that creativity and put it on a platform that everybody can sort of understand.
Yeah, so where are we today? We now work with about 10,000 artists from over 80 countries. It would be a dream to work with people from every single country around the world. It's not just about the designs, though, as I hope you learned. It's about the story, these people's backgrounds, the city they're from, their style, their friends, who they love, who they hate. It's everything. It's all of these things that allow us to really tap into the diversity and creativity of the world, and that's what we try to do. It's not an internal process for us. It's not about what we think. It's about what the world thinks, and we think that's extremely powerful, and it's something that we believe deep down to our core. And so, to close, I would just say, talk to your neighbors, stalk strangers, get weird, do things that allow you to have conversations, because those conversations are going to inspire you, and those inspirations are going to allow you to create something really, really great. So thank you, everyone, for having us. Thank you, Chicago Ideas. This was an honor.